Check, check. Hey everyone, welcome to another live session. This is soon turning out to be my favorite thing to do for the week. I'm happy to be doing this on a Saturday. Just a couple of things before we get started. First things first, just make sure I am live. You can see me, hear me. Just in the chat, if you can say yes, no, that'd be fantastic. Again, today's agenda is slightly different from the regular AMAs. I'm going to do a where are we, what do we need to do sort of a thing first, and then jump into questions as usual. The goal for today is basically for us to just try and understand what the timeline looks like, especially if you are spring 26 or fall 2026. Of course, keep the questions coming. But before I do any of that, before I get started on any of the questions or anything, just let me know if you can see my face. Just got a haircut. Let me know how that is. Tell me if you can see me, hear me okay, and we can get started. Okay, fantastic. I have a bunch of yeses, so we are good to go. Hey everyone, my name is Suraj. I'm one of the co-founders here at Gradvine. The goal of today's session is to be able to first, in the small 5-minute section, to be able to do a timeline, very, very quick and brief timeline for spring 26, fall 26, and then move on to taking as many questions as we have from the chat section, which I'm able to see here. I don't see too many questions there yet, so start dumping all your questions there. I'm happy to take as many as I can in that 30-minute slot that I have. And then I will come back, of course, tomorrow as well to do my big CSDS webinar. All right, first things first. If you are a spring 2026 applicant, which means that you are trying to go into university in January 2026, just a rule of thumb, irrespective of whether you're a spring student or a fall student, 1 year before the time that you want to start university is when you should start your applications process. So if you are a spring 2026 applicant, which is 2026 January intake, you should start your application 1 year in advance, which is January 2025. Your deadlines are going to be about 6 months before the start of the intake. So for spring particularly, the deadlines are going to be July, August, September, depending on the university that you're applying to. If you are a regular fall 2026 applicant, 1 year before the fall, so in August of 2025 is when the applications will open up. And then 6 months before that, somewhere around December, January, February, those are going to be the deadlines that you will have to finish the applications for a fall 2026. All right. So now the way to think about it is to go backwards. I want to start university in August 2026. What are the things that I need to be doing? If the goal is to finish the application and start in August 2026, like I said, 1 year before that, August 2025 is when the applications open up. Before the applications open up, you should ideally have done these 3 things. First, given all the standardized tests that are needed, the GRE, TOEFL/IELTS/Duolingo, our opinion internally is that Duolingo is a much easier, faster, and a simpler process-based exam, and therefore check with the university that they will, if they will accept Duolingo, and go ahead with that. So your standardized tests should be done before you hit August. The second thing you need to have finished is made sure that you have a fantastic and a well-balanced list of universities to apply to. Ideal situation for almost everyone, again, on a webinar, on a general platform, I'm not going to be able to personalize this too much. But generally, the way I recommend people is to do 12 universities total, 6 ambitious if you have a really good profile, 4 moderate, and 2 safeties. 6, 4, and 2. That's the breakup if you have a really good profile. If it's a medium sort of a profile, reduce the number of ambitious to about 4 or 5, increase the mediums, and then increase the safeties. 4, 4, and 4. All right. If you don't really have a great profile, do only two ambitious, increase the number of moderates to 5, and increase the number of safeties to 5. All right. So the second thing that you should have finished before August, ideally, is a fantastic shortlist of institutions. Of course, I'm not going to be able to personalize it for everyone on the call. That's why we have a free consultation that's available. And that's why we have a lot of paid services that we offer, which help students figure out where they should be applying to, what's the strategy to apply there, and be able to get into fantastic institutions. By the way, in today's live session, I'm going to be shamelessly plugging in one big thing that I'm doing tomorrow as much as I can. I am doing the season's first big GradVine webinar. So tomorrow, 8 p.m. is going to be, actually 8 p.m. Is that the right time? I'm just going to check that really quick. Yes, tomorrow 8 p.m. That's the time. So tomorrow 8 p.m. I'm going to be doing the big webinar for GradVine. This is the start of it. This is going to be the CS and DS masterclass. I'm going to walk you through what computer science is. I'm going to walk you through what data science is, and I'm going to break down everything you need to know around computer science, data science, including curricula, what kind of universities exist, what should your strategy be when it comes to applying to these degrees, and a lot more. All right. So the link to register is down in the comments. It's also going to be up in all of our socials, etc. This is the first big webinar that we like to kick off things with. And from that point on, you will see big webinars scheduled at least twice a month. All right. Please make sure to register if you're a CS or a DS student. And I'm happy to see you guys tomorrow on the webinar itself. All right. So the three big things that you need to be done before August, I said first is give all your standardized tests, get them out of the way. The second is make sure you've given a lot of thought and put together a sensitive, a sensible, and a balanced institution based on your particular profile. I'm seeing some questions around shortlisting. Guys, again, think about this in from my perspective, right? I have as many people on this live call. I will have about 200 people on the webinar. It is impossible for me to have a dialogue with you before trying and identifying the right set of institutions that are fit for your personal goals, for your professional goals, for your location preferences, for your tuition fee / cost of attendance preferences. So I am not going to be able to do a shortlist, and we have paid services just because of the amount of work that we do in terms of the shortlisting process. So unfortunately, not going to be able to help you on the shortlist. Please feel free to set up a free consultation call, and we'd like to sit down with you and just go through the entire application process. All right, now that I've finished the fall timeline, I'm seeing a couple of questions on the spring timeline as well. So here we go. If you are applying for Jan 2026, 1 year before that is when applications open up. 6 months before that is applications closing. Okay, simple logic. So now let's work backwards. 6 months to Jan, somewhere between July, August, September. That's going to be the 3 months in which most of the universities will have their deadlines. So if you haven't given the GRE yet, this is the time to do so. Even for fall 2026, guys, this is the time to give the GRE. This is the time to get rid of all of the tests, finish and get out, so that your mind is clear when you sit down to start figuring out what universities to look at, what kind of SOPs you want to write, what kind of essays you want to write, who and which professor to approach, and all of that. All right. So from my perspective, if you are applying to a spring 2026, so January 2026, you are not too late, but it's getting to be on the cusp of being late. If you are applying, schedule a free consultation call. All right, that's it. That's my spiel for the formal spiel for the day. I'm going to go ahead and try answering as many questions as I can. Which exams are best if you want to do MS from top universities? GRE is absolutely mandatory. Let nobody point out the fact that GRE is optional, etc. Yes, GRE is optional, but that optional comes at a cost to you as compared to someone else who's taken the GRE. Last year, some of the best admits that we've had absolutely had a GRE, and not a home-based GRE. I am tired of people coming and asking me, can I take the home-based GRE? Can I cheat on it and get a 331 with my GPA being 6.7? Do not do any of that. All right. Make sure you give an honest attempt in the center for the GRE. irrespective of how good or bad that score is, it sets you apart. Of course, if it is good, it's great. Even if it is medium, it sets you apart and gives you an edge over someone who has not taken the GRE. All right. Therefore, from that perspective, make sure to take the GRE. The second exam that will be a requirement is an English language test. It could either be a TOEFL, Duolingo kind of a test. IELTS is another one. Those are three recommended tests. Once you have a list of institutions, write an email to all of them, check with them to see if Duolingo is allowed. If it is, that's the one that we would recommend. Second preference would be TOEFL, and third would be IELTS, just because I don't like the format of IELTS. Nothing against the test. All right, next. Carnegie Mellon core CS, but application is in strong CS. Fantastic. Absolutely the right kind of degree for you to look at if you're coming from a CS background, but don't have a very, very strong profile and still want to get out and get a CS related job. MIS, software engineering. Those are the two degrees you should be looking at. How is Carnegie Mellon MIS? It's one of the best programs there is. Unfortunately, this year I did not put it in my at the number one position. This year I had Berkeley at number one. I had University of Washington at number two, and I demoted with a heavy heart Carnegie Mellon to number three. All right. In the previous years, I always had Berkeley at number one, Carnegie Mellon at number two. But this year onwards, I have had a change of heart depending on what the university is doing to that program in general and the kind of folks that are getting in and getting out of that program. So I've demoted Carnegie Mellon to number three, but it's a fantastic program. Let nobody tell you otherwise. Which universities are best for MS in data science? Okay, sure. Come to my webinar tomorrow. The link to register is going to be down below. I'm going to break down intricately everything you need to know about CS, including and showing you examples side by side of the same university, difference between the curriculum between a CS and a DS. A lot of you might have questions around what the F is a data science degree, right? So I will be able to break that down, show you what it means, show you also what the difference between a CS with a specialization in DS versus an MS in DS looks like. All right. So come to my webinar. I will clear these and a lot more doubts. I've been shortlisting universities. Yeah. And now this is exactly the reason we have both a free consultation and paid services. I don't know if you either opted for either one of these two. I would highly encourage you to do it. It is a difficult process. It is not as easy as typing top 50 institutions and looking at the ones that you like and picking them. That's not how it works. You've got to be able to first figure out an overall strategy. What kind of universities should I be targeting? What kind of universities will I have a decent shot at getting into? Look at past data, identify trends that we've been seeing for the last 8-9 years now, and then be able to set up some universities and say, hey, these are the ones that make sense. Even before you get to universities, there's a huge spiel about identifying the right set of courses to take as well. Therefore, set up a free consultation, ideally sign up for some of our services. July, August too late? No, it's not too late, but starting to be late. So make sure to set up the applications. Fall 2025 deadline. Gitesh, my friend, people are flying out in the next 2 weeks for fall 2026. Sorry, I did not see that. All right, what can be the deadline for fall 2026? October, November, December are going to be first round deadlines if you are applying to some of the really good places, either for an MBA, for an MIS, for an MEM. For most CS related courses, CS, DS, software engineering, October. Okay, 1 second. Looks like. Okay, so for fall 2026, if you're applying to CS, DS, and that kind of courses, December, January, and February, those are going to be the deadlines for you. Can you recommend best credit cards for international students? Sure. I think Zolve is doing a really good job of solving for that international student credit card. But here's my experience. When I went to the US in 2014, 10 years exactly now, 2014, 2015 timeline, what I did is made sure I got an account in two different banks, and then Discover, which is a US based bank and a credit card provider, that became very easy. And that was my first credit card in the US. So, Discover, if you want to go there and get one, Zolve, if you want to get it from here, but don't don't take up a credit card right now. I would say build a little bit of credit, and the kind of credit products you will get are going to be much better. Is there a WhatsApp group? Yes, absolutely. And Divya will put up the link to the WhatsApp group somewhere down in the comment section below. But yes, we do have a WhatsApp group. Can we get 50% scholarship? Profile is really good, but I don't have the GRE. First things first, give the GRE. If your profile is good, it is only going to get better if you get a GRE of 315 and above, 318 and above. Can we get 50% scholarships? Boss, you can get 100% scholarship also. It just depends on the kinds of universities you apply to, the kinds of courses you apply to, and what your profile is. So the answer to that question, very generic question, is a yes. But you've got to make sure that you increase your chance of getting that scholarship. Make sure to take the GRE. Is it hard to get a job after MS in industrial engineering? I'm guessing IE is industrial engineering. Again, if you go to a Michigan, to a Georgia Tech, to a Purdue, to a Carnegie Mellon, etc., no problems. If you go to a UT Arlington or a North Texas or some random institute in the middle of nowhere, do not expect a job out of it. TOEFL 83 enough? No, my friend. No, not at all. You don't want to give the TOEFL again? Don't give it. Make sure to give a Duolingo instead. 83 is a not good score at all. 83 is the base. 80 is the base that you will get. 83 is not good. So please make sure to give it again. Best universities for AI ML. Come to my webinar tomorrow. Thoughts on George Mason CS. Come to my webinar tomorrow. I am like a broken record. I'm trying to push people to come to the webinar because I've put in 3 hours of work just trying to figure out what I'm going to be talking, and enough artifacts and examples of what the differences are, how you should be thinking about it, etc. So, not giving away too much on this live session. Come to the webinar tomorrow. I'm happy to share that and a bunch of other stuff. Of course, if you need personalized information, guys, I cannot recommend the free consultation enough. We've trained Purab, Chandan, and the others so well, and they do a fantastic job at answering every single query that you have and not pitching the services till the very end. So don't be under any obligation. Take the free consultation call. That's a way for us to get a sense of what your profile is, give you specific personalized advice based on your profile, and then from that point on, take it forward. What is the right approach? Sorry, one sec. I'm going to come back to that question in just a little bit. I think I missed one. Is a research paper absolutely necessary if I want to get a top 100? Absolutely not. We've had people that have gotten into a top 5 without research papers. So it's not about the research paper and the published work itself, but if you're looking at thesis-based or research-based programs, having some amount of research is absolutely mandatory. I want contact number 9000081 Very easy to remember, isn't it? But alternatively, you could go to gradband.com and hit the free call link, or you could just hit this link right here, right above. If you want a contact number and you're old school, you don't like, coming on Google Meet, etc., pick up the phone and call 9000081 Okay, what university is good for MS in EE? For who? Suresh, for me or for you? For me, I'm not EE, so nothing will be good. But for you, I'm guessing you are from EE. And so, if you want a list of institutions, you can take a look at some of the videos that we've done. And I will also give you 3 places: Georgia Tech, Carnegie Mellon, University of Michigan. But just giving you these 3 names does not solve for any problem. So, 2 things. 1, ask the right questions, and 2, in order to get the right answers to the right questions, set up a free consultation call with us. Oh, by the way, for someone who asked, this is the link to the Spring 26. Is there a chance to start preparations for Spring 26, you're not late. You can start now. Make sure to set up a call. What is the right approach to get a good LOR? Okay, first things first. Make sure to go sit in the professor's class. If you are from a BITS or a university that doesn't care about the attendance system, do not do yourself a disservice and bunk classes. First things first, go and sit in that professor's class. Second, be honest with the professor in telling them, boss, prof, I am going to be applying for a master's degree right after. I am going to list you down as one of my referees. Would you be kind enough to give me a letter of recommendation? I am happy to provide some pointers if you want to rejig your memory, or if you want me to type out the letter and give that to you for you to make edits, etc. I'm happy to do that as well. But please, this is something that I've thought deeply about. These are the kinds of programs I want to be applying to, and I would benefit immensely from some help, with some help from you. Can you get into top MSIE or MEM? Yes, absolutely. Again, no GRE is bothering me. Make sure to give the GRE and everything else looks good. Yes, you will be able to get into a top 10. Do you need research papers for MEM? Absolutely not. Is ECE with embedded worth it? Absolutely yes. So there are some pockets in the US, San Diego, Austin, Seattle, North Carolina. If you're able to, and Maryland, if you're able to do it from any of the good universities that are in these pockets, absolutely yes. SanDisk, Qualcomm, Broadcom, WD, Western Digital, and of course Apple, and of course Big Daddy, Nvidia, all of them higher. So absolutely yes. Great, Harish, fantastic job. Early applications, November 15. Oh, absolutely yes, it will help. Even if you are doing non-thesis, it will still help. They want to know if your academic rigor was high, and this is a fantastic way to tell them that. What if you've got to clear the baseline? That's it. You've got to make sure that it is whatever the university is saying, you have to clear that. If it's a 80, you have to clear 80. If it's 100, clear 100. TOEFL, guys, look, TOEFL is the easiest exam that you will ever take. It's a language test and treat it like a language test. So clear the minimum cutoff, you're good. Is next. Why do I want to do an MS? Okay. I'm guessing this is for a visa interview, or at least this seems like a visa interview question. This is how I would answer it. I have a fantastic academic profile. I have a really good job where I am challenged, but I want to be able to go back into school, learn the relevant 2026 skill set, and be able to skill up in my career. That's why I want to do an MS. What would be a good GRE score? 318 and above with 163 and above on quant. I read somewhere professors should not. No, it does not matter what the professor is including. The way to think about an LOR is professor is saying some things and it absolutely has to be backed with an example. The prof needs to give an example of how you've demonstrated that you are a good student academically, went above and beyond. Everything, every quality that the professor is talking about needs to be accompanied by at least one or two examples. That's the way to write an LOR. All right, let's look at this. Bachelor's engineering, which masters to break into entry-level management consulting? 2 degrees. The first one is, of course, an MBA, the biggest entry point into a management consulting role. Second, slightly less so, is an MEM degree. Those are the 2 degrees. When do early applications started? Actually, we'll start in July. Will I be able to switch to UI UX from software development in MNC? Best universities for UI UX. Instead of doing a UI UX, look at a program called HCI, Human Computer Interaction. Okay, so the way to think about it is MS HCI at places like the University of Michigan, Carnegie Mellon, UCSD, UWash, etc. Will I be able to switch? Absolutely. Make sure to develop a portfolio, start putting together all of the design pieces that you've developed so far into a PDF document, and that will, or a personal website for that matter, and that will become the kind of document that you show in the answer for a portfolio. Answer to get LOR from manager. He was asking, I'm not able to convince him. Okay, why do I want to do an MS degree to a manager? Boss, you've given me all the opportunities that I can. There are two problems. One, in terms of the growth that I'm hitting, in terms of the kind of work that I'm doing, I want a slight change. That's one. Second, I'm also very interested in academia and in learning the latest and greatest cutting edge technology. And I think a university's formal academic system will give me the tools for me to skill up and level up. This is the reason why I want to go ahead and do a master's degree. Priya, I'm hoping that makes sense. Please set up another conversation free call with us if you have any specific questions. Already prepared for IELTS, planning to give it. Not of people are saying TOEFL is easy. There is no easy or different. It's just a different exam. IELTS, TOEFL, and Duolingo, exactly the same things, guys. It's just a test of English language. Whether you can speak, write, read, and listen. That's it. Don't worry too much about which one you're giving. If you've already prepared for the IELTS and you've already set up the date, go for it. Nothing will happen. Thanks, mate. Absolutely. Pleasure. Same thing. Early applications for top 15. Yes, early applications, November 15th. Yes, okay. All right, looks like that's all the questions. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming on a weekend. There are 2 or 3 things I want to leave you with. First, timeline. If you are a fall 2026 applicant, make sure you use the time between now and ideally July 15 to wrap up the GRE, get it out, get it done. Some smart folks, and these are the folks I personally love working with. Some smart folks sign up for GradVine before they give the GRE because they know they don't want to waste the money of reporting to 4 universities for free, the GRE scores to 4 universities for free. Therefore, folks that sign up in May, June, and up to July 15 get preferential treatment at GradVine. I personally take care of all of their shortlisting. I'm also heavily involved with the entire applications process because these are the guys that I see they're taking initiative. I love to work with folks that take initiative. All right. So good window if you want to work one-on-one with either me for CS, DS, etc., or Srikar for engineering management, MBAs, etc. So your window between right now, May to July 15th is a fantastic window. Show initiative. We'd love to work with you one-on-one. Second, set up your free consultation call. That's the way for you to get personalized guidance. Third, and the biggest thing, I'm going to rant about this today, and I'm going to go put a Instagram post as well. The third thing, I sat for the last 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon and put together some material for my MS in CS and DS masterclass that's happening tomorrow. The goal with this masterclass, first of all, every year we do this. This is the first kickoff webinar for us. The goal with this webinar is for us to break down everything related to computer science, everything related to data science, compare both of them, tell you which one is good for you or not, and then go through the list of all the universities that offer these kinds of degrees, the nuances, and then take as many questions as possible. The link to register is in the chat. Make sure to come to the webinar tomorrow. Yeah, I'd love to see you guys there. Those are the 3 things I will leave you with. Of course, keep engaging with us. There are a bunch of groups. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I'm fairly responsive there as well. And then have a good Saturday. I think the IPL is starting back up. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, guys. See you.